Okay, good morning everyone. Good morning to our beloved principal, Miss Lorita Q. Garcia. So today we are going to tackle about power, the lesson 3 that is in line with the Philippine politics and governance. But before we proceed that, we're going to have a short review with the previous discussion. So the title, Conservatism in line with the political ideology. So what is conservatism, by the way? That is what we call that is a political and social philosophy promoting traditional and social institution in the context of culture and civilization. So that's regarding conservatism. So another is that conservatism, there are two things that we're going to learn about conservatism as we discussed earlier or the previous week. No? We have what we call that advantages and disadvantages of conservatism. Uh, in conservatism ideology, from advantages, we have freedom, free market, low taxation, gradual change, etc. And from disadvantages, we have what we call that a right foundation on how we're going to manage this kind of things. Okay? So that's all about. Now, let us proceed to the new topic. Again, as I told you, that is lesson 3 talks about power. So, power or the nature of power. So, what is power or nature of power? So, power is an inescapable feature of human social life and structure. The standard theory is that power, the capacity for influence, and that influence is based on the control or resources valued or desired by others. Then, power is the ability to implement one's will. The expanded definition of power according to RES 1999 is the ability to influence various outcomes by mobilizing resources, so what we call that human and material, to get things done within a web of relations. Power also plays an important role in leadership. Leaders exercise various forms of power in order to guide people in organization and lead them in the conduct of various tasks. So generally defined as the ability of a person to carry out his or her will. So there are three nature of power. So what is that? Identity power. So identity power is an ability to achieve intended results, especially in terms of getting some other person to do what he would not otherwise do, for power is a capacity to produce both intended and unintended effects. Number two, assertive power. Assertive power refers to the capacity to make requests, actively disagree, express positive or negative personal rights and feelings, initiate, maintain, or disengage from conservation and stand up for oneself without attacking another. Number three, force and physical power. Physical power is the capacity to affect intentionally others' body, especially or example that is surgery. Power directed towards another self is oriented towards the other's psychological field, perceptions, motivations, behavioral disposition, interest, or intentions. So directed are advertising, propaganda, commands, threats, inducement, deception, promises, and so on. There are many kinds and physical power. Prostitutes, gymnasts, beauticians, and on are known for their manifestation of particular physical powers. So that's regarding the three nature of powers. So there are, besides the three nature of power, there are three kinds of power according to the scholars. So what is that? Power over is the ability to dominate other or another person or group, as in I have power over him. This means I have the ability to make him do what I want him to do. Then power over usually comes from force or threat. If the subordinate fails to do what he or she is asked to do, the dominant person will use force to make the subordinate person comply. So that's number one. So number two, power two is the ability to do something on one's own. It refers to one's abilities, sources of or this kind of power are intellect, resources, knowledge, stima, etc. These resources give some people the power to accomplish things that others cannot. So the number three, power with. So what is power with? Is similar to power to in that it reflects ability, but power with is the ability to work with others to get something done by cooperation. This is the power of consensus, the power of people working together to solve a common problem. So that is the three kinds of power according to the scholars. Next, we're going to include this dimension of power. So what is dimension? By the way, it is a measurable extent of some kind, such as length, breadth, or depth, or height. So what will be the coverage? So dimension of power, there are four. So first dimension of power, it is also referred to as direct power. It is where one uses money or force to achieve a purpose. The consequence of this type of power is that only the powerful have a say. Second, the second dimension of power, the power does not necessarily favor to the powerful. The consequence of this type of power is that it is able to see the cause and effect of its decision to give or to get. The best solution using this type of power makes one make favorable decisions. Third, the type does not avoid conflict but on the other hand causes the needy and less fortunate to feel they are powerless to reject. The consequence of this type of power is that it uses manipulation to make the unfortunate to feel helpless even when they can raise a voice in the matters. Last one, the fourth dimension of power. This is one of the latest observable sources of power. It is combination of all the three types of power in limited way. The type of power was analyzed in the 1980s and 90s. It describes how social convention arise and make their establishments. So, there are types of power according to social psychologists, according to John Prince and Bertram Raven. So, view of power can be classified according to several bases. Number one, there will be coercive power. So, coercive power is based on a person's ability to compel other people through threats, punishments, and force. Reward power is based on the ability to give rewards and benefits. Then number three, expert powers relies on the knowledge and skills of individual. Then number four, legitimate power based on a person's position. Then number five, the referent power is based on individuals and personality and ability to attract followers. So that's all about regarding power. So as you see or you can see, there are kinds, nature of power that we need to learn in order for us to be aware of what is power really or the nature of power. So I think that's it. And have a nice day. God bless us all. Thank you.